I run one of the most successful nutrition clinics on the planet. Over 100 dietitians.
Yeah.
The who's who of the world. The fastest 200-meter athlete in the world comes to my clinic.
Yeah.
I won 2 Olympic medals with Sushil Kumar. Virat Kohli has been my client. Fat cells reside in our body for 8 years. But your stomach cells change every 9 days. Your skin cells every 7 weeks. Right? Your brain cells and your eyes are two guys that remain with you very long. Skeletal muscle, 14 years. Blood every 3 months. So now when you're eating all of this raw material, are you using it for proper cell turnover or construction? Everyone listening into this podcast, more than 60% of them will develop diabetes in their life if they don't get smart about getting educated about what they put in their body. Half a time I'm swearing and abusing at what these manufacturers are doing because they're literally putting topi on all of us, yeah.
Exactly.
It's like for example, recently I saw somebody packet of rice gluten free. Hang on, you're charging a 40% premium, but rice is already gluten free.
Exactly.
Right? That friend, na, अरे यार भूख है Karan, कुछ तो खाने का. Every 15 minutes, that friend,
We all
you're
have that
laughing.
friend,
You know
yeah.
that friend already in your group.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a friend, he will eat,
Yeah.
and you'll have gone hitting the nightclub and everything. 1 hour later, भाई कुछ खाने का है. He's just eaten
Yeah,
like a wild boar,
Uh-huh.
and his like stomach is empty. That's called the satiety gene. This is the problem in this country. Every business person or entrepreneur or startup has thought that they are very smart in nutrition. I know 20, 30 entrepreneurs who started everything from protein powders to energy bars, and I'm calling you guys out. You have no food science background. What I'm going to say today is going to shock the industry.
Yeah.
I've never said it on camera before.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Flipside podcast. Today we have a very special guest for you. We have with us celebrity nutritionist Mr. Ryan Fernando. Ryan has been the nutrition coach for the leading athletes and celebrities of the country, to name a few: Virat Kohli, Anushka Sharma, Aamir Khan, Shahid Kapoor, Yuvraj Singh, Shikhar Dhawan. The list just goes on. He has over 2 decades of experience and he's the founder of QUA Nutrition. In our conversation today, I spoke to him about fat loss, about anti-aging, about reversing diabetes naturally. And the conversation that we have had are consultations that would have charged anyone lakhs of rupees, but it's free for you. So make sure that you watch till the end. Hey Ryan, such a pleasure to have you on the podcast finally. And I have so many questions to ask you. But firstly, how are you doing?
I'm doing super good, and thank you for having me here today.
It's an absolute pleasure. Ryan, I wanted to ask you about a problem that most of us experience. I'm not sure if you've experienced that, but most of us have at some point in our lives been addicted to junk food. We can't stop at that one chip or that one piece of chocolate. Can you run us through what actually makes that food so addictive?
See, basically, we have pleasure center in our brain and a pain center.
Yeah.
Now, man is a animal of pleasure. Nobody will choose pain.
Yeah.
Only these mixed martial art guys will choose pain. But the rest of us, a pastry looks really good,
Yeah.
a donut looks really good. Now, most of the wheat, dairy, and sugar have molecules in it which target a pleasure center in the brain. In fact, when scientists did an experiment, they gave people opium and they found out which part of the brain lit up. And do you know that when you eat a croissant or you have a pastry with icing on it,
Yeah.
which is whipped cream,
Yeah.
or you do plain sugar, so all of your chocolates and candies, the same part of the brain lights up.
Oh.
So if that part where opium gets lit up, which is linked to addiction, is lit up by food, you're going to be addicted to junk food unless you have adults holding your addiction, or you have a filter in your brain saying, hey, my body is the most expensive real estate.
Yeah.
I need to take care of it. So like my sports stars and my celebrity clients who are really young, they're the ones who they want the six pack, they want to look good. So they understand that junk food is going in, it's addictive.
Yeah.
You keep cycling through it and it's going to damage your body.
Yeah, there's a lot of extensive research I believe that food scientists are doing to make this very addictive, and I think the right amount of sugar, salt, fat is being calibrated, and then
Oh
that's
yeah,
what.
yeah. They're like agents that are discovering what will your taste buds
Yeah.
succumb to what temptation.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for example, the other day I just had a candy and I put it in my mouth
Yeah.
because my kid was eating it. So I don't deprive my 10-year-old kid, but I teach him moderation. So if you're going to eat junk food,
Yeah.
one is to allow yourself moderation. The problem is when you're an animal,
Yeah.
you have no control. But if you can just evolve beyond your animalistic pleasures, you should be able to control yourself. So those candies are designed with umami, salt, sugar, and even a little bit of spice in it. So all the taste bud sensations are firing. You can't resist.
But I remember recently, a few months ago, I realized that my body is my biggest real estate, and since then, I've been very particular about not consuming products that use palm oil. And I was going around the grocery store, and I'm like, I really can't buy anything that I want to snack on, and I used to snack on. But now that I know of palm oil, other than that, are there any things that people should check in the nutritional chart or in the ingredients that before buying, if they see this ingredient, stay away?
So very, very simple.
Yeah.
If it comes in a plastic packet, you should be a little bit cautious first. So let's assume you want to buy something from a plastic packet,
Yeah.
whether it's biscuits, energy bar, an aerated beverage, whatever it is, they will have words written on the ingredient. Karan, if there's a chemical word in it, even a commerce student will understand it's a chemical
Yeah.
word. The only thing is not to be too intelligent about reading the label. Be intelligent about just saying it's a chemical. And if I'm doing it maybe once or twice a month, thumbs up.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it every day,
Yeah.
so for example, there is a health drink which recently went to court by the government, and they said you have to remove the health drink label on it, and all the e-commerce apps have been asked to delist it and put
Yeah.
it into a normal beverage category. When I looked at this health beverage, what I found out was it did not have chocolate in it, it had chocolate flavoring. So, Karan, one of the things that you can look for, don't look for any exotic chemical name. Look for the word flavor. If flavor is there, you know it's chemical. Because if you want a chocolate, you will get cacao or cocoa bean.
Right.
And that is very expensive. That's the cost of a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
But when you look at something added into a milkshake or a beverage and it says chocolate flavor, strawberry flavor, I can bet my money that is just a chemical synthetic flavor. So you're being conned. You're being conned into eating something at a taste bud level,
Yeah.
not at a nutritive level.
Yeah.
So people need to figure out that, hey, if I'm constructing my body, I always tell people there's something known as cell turnover, right? So Karan, the body that you are sitting in this room with me and I'm sitting in this room is constantly being changed over. Fat cells reside in our body for 8 years, but your stomach cells change every 9 days. Your skin cells every 7 weeks, right? Your brain cells and your eyes are two guys that remain with you very long. Skeletal muscle, 14 years. Blood every 3 months. So now when you're eating all of this raw material, are you using it for proper cell turnover or construction?
Yeah.
The only way I can explain it to all your fans and my fans, very simple. Imagine you are a high-end bungalow, but every 10 to 30 days, each room is being rechanged. Now, will you use um, chalta hai raw material? Yeah, you will choose the right raw material, expensive raw material. So
That's true.
think of your body as a very expensive real estate,
Yeah.
and the only thing that you should ask before even looking at a label is, are you worthy to enter my body?
That's true. It's so important that you say this because a lot of products now are being marketed as healthy, but they're actually not healthy. So this will really help the audience understand what to go for. And like you said, if it's plastic and the flavors and all these,
Actually,
just stay away.
actually, if you had a camera on me and you were
Hmm.
traveling with me,
Hmm.
half a time I'm swearing and abusing at what these manufacturers are doing because they're literally putting topi on all of us, yaar.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like for example, recently I saw somebody packet of rice gluten free. Hang on, you're charging a 40% premium, but rice is already gluten free,
Exactly.
right? So I think the good news is
Yeah.
I'm getting interviewed, so
Yeah.
we're
At
calling
least.
out people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are compatriots of mine out there who are educating the
Yeah.
masses, and I think it's very important for people to just say that, oh, I'm not going to put crap into my body.
Yeah.
You start at that level. Within a 1 year period, you're discovering what I can eat, what I can buy, what I should not
Yeah,
buy.
no, for sure. This is really important. And we earlier touched upon palm oil, and I understand that oil in general needs to be avoided as much as possible. But if there are people that want to use oil, is there a way to possibly rank these oils in terms of health, be it like sunflower oil, coconut oil, rice bran oil, palm oil?
In the earlier years,
Yeah.
before I did genetic testing,
Yeah.
I would always give a mixed basket. It's like the IPL team, right?
Okay.
Somebody is a middle order batsman, somebody is a top order batsman, somebody is a tail ender but can really finish a match for
Yeah.
you. In the oils family, you have mufa, pufa, and saturated fat.
Hmm.
Saturated fat is your butter, ghee,
Ghee.
coconut oil. The thing is, in today's world, when we do the genetic test, there are people that will have thumbs up for saturated, meaning they can have butter, ghee, and coconut oil, and there are some people who cannot have it because it will create heart disease. So, as I've gone forward over the years,
Yeah.
I've kind of brought it into a very simple scenario. Don't have fried foods
Yeah.
because it's copious amounts of oil. Don't have fried foods that are made outside.
Right.
If you have fried foods, make it at home. Why? Because oil chosen at home will be of a better quality.
Yeah.
It will not be reused 15 times. That restaurant out there has refried those banana chips 20 to 30 times today in that same oil.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's actually more of engine oil actually than good healthy oil. Another thing, Karan, is if you and I existed 5,000 years ago, you didn't ride on a horse and like, hey, bhai, tel de do. Because tail doesn't exist in nature. Does coconut oil exist in nature? What exists in nature?
Coconuts.
Coconut. So you have to put the coconut and you have to grind it
Grind.
out to take the oil.
Extra.
Right? So in the olden days you did it by hand.
Yeah.
Today we have machines or chemicals to take it oil.
Yeah.
Now, why do we put oil in our food? Why do we fry it? Because of mouthfeel, taste factor.
Yeah.
So in these departments, palm oil gives no flavor to the food. So it's a preferred option by all restaurateurs.
Yeah.
The reason being is that, look, I'm from South India. You're from Mumbai, right? Somebody over here is from North India. So North Indian guy will like sarso ka tel. South Indian guy might like coconut oil.
Yeah.
You might like groundnut oil.
Yeah.
Imagine if I made an omelette in सरसों का तेल. नॉर्थ इंडियन अरे भाई ये तो बढ़िया है, बहुत अच्छा होता है. अरे साउथ इंडियन से अरे यार इसका टेस्ट तो अजीब होता है यार.
Yeah.
So palm oil is the most neutral. People will go for palm oil. Also, the cost of ghee is 800 plus rupees per kg. The cost of palm oil is 150 to 180 rupees per kg.
Yeah.
You and I start a restaurant together, Karan. Which oil will we use? The cheapest oil. So when you go into this hierarchy, I tell people, less oil, don't fry food, घर का खाना लेने का है. If you have money, do a genetic test, figure out. So in me, MUFA, which is monounsaturated fats, is not good. So groundnut oil, olive oil, thumbs down. But PUFA, for me, is a thumbs up. Sunflower, safflower, corn oil. But these also are known as vegetable oils and can be harmful. So for me, it's like, which cricket player do I choose if I'm the captain? Everyone has their strength, everyone has their demerits. So you make the best of a decision. So if I go to an Italian restaurant, I'm not telling that bhai, mera pasta coconut oil se bana lo. I'm telling him, I will eat that olive oil that day, but it's not multiple exposures. If you come to my house, there's a bottle of 2, 3 oils. So we are also rotating the oil. We're using an oil sprayer.
Okay.
So I don't know if you know this, but normally we use those pour bottles. And when you do a single
It
pour,
spills.
you can get up to 2 tablespoons of oil going into a plant. Now, Karan, most of us in urban India, when we live
Yeah.
in our metro cities, we have domestic help helping us. Anyone who's watching your podcast,
Yeah.
most likely will have domestic help.
Right.
Now, domestic help is not going to be like, अरे यार Ryan Fernando का वीडियो देखा, मेरे को 1 चम्मच लेने का है, 5 ml यूज करने का, right?
Yeah.
30 ml of oil in there.
Yeah.
So the game to reduce oil in a pan is an oil sprayer.
That's right.
So I bought a simple oil sprayer and I actually did an experiment and sprayed.
Yeah.
And it's designated as half an ml. So 3 sprays, which is 1.5 ml versus 20 ml. So you could win on the game by just buying an oil sprayer. The problem is how many people cook at home. And then the next problem that I face. मोना ऑयल स्प्रे यूज करते हैं नहीं सर वो खराब हो गया सर क्या हो गया नहीं वो जाम हो गया तो मैं नया वाला लेके आ जाएगा नहीं सर वो आसान है वैसे ऐसा डाल सकते हैं ये स्प्रेयर क्यों चाहिए सो द अवेयरनेस ऑफ आवर डोमेस्टिक हेल्प
Yeah.
to using an oil sprayer because we get lesser quantity
Yeah.
is the uphill task. It's like you ask your mom this. In the 80s and 90s, domestic help still wanted to use ash to wash the dishes at home.
Yeah.
Whilst your soap came in, which powdered soap and your liquid soap.
Yeah.
So certain things will take time for people to change, and utilization of lowering a portion of oil is going to be difficult with domestic help, which is why the younger generation needs to learn to get into the kitchen
Yeah.
and control what is going inside the food first and then what goes inside of them.
Yeah, but actually the oil spray idea is such a brilliant idea. It's so simple, but I think the impact is so large scale. It's brilliant. Another trend that I'm seeing, it's not a trend, I understand the moral concerns with which people are choosing this lifestyle, which is a veganism. While I understand the moral impacts of it, Are there any negative long-term impacts on one's health after becoming vegan?
See, basically in today's world, there's a lot of fashionability around food. So guys like me or nutritionists and all, we want to like create some fashion, some drama. You need to eat. You need to eat to your capacity.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what's thumbs up in your body and what's thumbs down.
Yeah.
Now, from an ethical perspective, vegetarian and veganism is at the highest level of ethics.
Yes.
Brilliant. From a nutritional standpoint of view,
Yeah.
you need certain foods that may not come into your body. Now, in today's day and age, we are tom-tomming and beating the drum. Ki you got low bone density, low vitamin D, low B12. I think if you went back 200 years, people wouldn't care. Knees are paining, ear paining, and then you die. Okay, but in today's world, longevity, you want to live long. So, what is the thing with veganism? When you don't have enough of dairy because it comes
Yeah.
from animals, or iron, calcium, protein, B12 is found only in non-veg sources.
Right.
Okay, so these vitamins and minerals will go into deficiency after 3 to 6 months of a practice. If your mummy daddy ka jodi is acha hai, then your genetic ability to absorb and produce could be higher. You have no problem. But there are many people who come into my clinic, and when we do the nutrition test
Yeah.
of the blood, which is the vitamins and minerals, we do a bone mineral test, we look at the muscle, we look at the fat. We find that after a few months of veganism, they're a little bit on the back foot.
Okay.
Therefore, I recommend that testing and nutritional supplementation by your family doctor or your nutritionist
Yeah.
can help you get to the next level.
So with supplements, it's manageable.
Look, supplements are a nutritional convenience for a nutritional indiscipline. Now, in this case, veganism is not an indiscipline.
Yes.
It's a fact of the matter that B12 is found only in non-veg food.
Yeah.
And if you're a vegetarian whose microbiome, the gut bacteria, is not able to produce its own B12,
Yeah.
you are going to have a vitamin deficiency, which leads to a health problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're just being astute about it, and hopefully you'll
Understood.
not get the problem.
Understood. Right. No, I think vanity also plays a big part because of which people are now choosing to work out. And ideally, the aim should be to get fit and longevity for your health. What can someone do to increase their life to be healthy in the long run just through diet?
The first thing I would say earlier would be um, eat less, fast, and buy organic.
Yeah.
To your audience who's much younger, don't do that. Just get away. Awareness leads you to making better choices for
Choices.
your body.
Yeah.
Why would you work out? You would work out because muscle is the only age reversible organ in the human body.
Yeah.
So, Karan, there is this picture which I use in my clinic when I practice at the QUA Nutrition clinics.
Yeah.
When somebody comes in, I show them the picture of the MRI of the quadricep muscle. The quadricep is the muscle above the knee.
Yes.
And there's a cross section of a CT scan of it, of a 40-year-old man. Then they show of a 70-year-old man. And you can see like almost 80% of the muscle deteriorated. And then they show this 70-year-old triathlete,
Yeah.
which is similar to that of a 40-year-old.
Yeah.
So I always tell people that longevity and food, the simplest thing you can do is to begin to weight train, walk to burn fat, limit the amount of junk food you put into your body. Now, it's very difficult to do, but have a thought process that if you're going to eat 3 meals a day into 7 days a week, 21, don't do more than 3 bad exposures.
Okay.
What is 10% of 21? 2.1. 10%, okay, fine, take it, go up to 15%. But Karan, let's use logic. If you have a group of friends, right?
Yeah.
And you invite them to come out with you every week.
Yeah.
Let's say you have 10 friends. And for the next 6 months, 4 of those friends never turn up. That's 40%,
Yeah.
right? If they don't turn up, then those friends, you can cancel them off your list. They're doing harm to your relationship of the friends.
Yeah.
Same thing with junk food.
Right.
Figure out the junk. Figure
Yeah.
out the number of exposures. Then you can do even one thing even further. You go out for a cheat meal.
Yeah.
Like tonight I'm getting back to my 5-star hotel. Guess what I'm eating? Pizza. But my pizza has been constructed now to be gluten-free, dairy-free, has more veggies than the pizza base on it. And enough of protein, because I'm a non-vegetarian.
Yeah.
Enough of protein. I've asked him for salmon. I've asked him for chicken,
Yeah.
and I've asked him for vegan cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my cheat meal,
Hmm.
but I kind of made it a little bit dolled up,
Yeah.
as you'd call it.
I think cheat meals are also happening more now because it's a cultural shift. In the past, I think people would go out more only on the weekends. Now people go out every second day, or people were also used to, I believe, eating breakfast, lunch, dinner. Now people are eating like 4 to 5 meals a day. So is that also the reason why weight gain is happening so easily?
You already gave me the answer, which
Yeah.
is correct. The e-commerce app says
Hmm.
the number one ordered food
Yeah.
in 2023 was biryani. The number two was pizza. And the number three was noodles.
Yeah.
The noodle fact was so funny, I started laughing. Apparently, if you took all the bowls of noodles sold at
Yeah.
position number three, you could go 22 times around the earth. So I was like, India is eating a lot
A
of
lot. Yeah.
processed food. Okay. I ate a biryani this afternoon.
Hmm.
I asked the chef at Leela Palace, could you make it oil free
Hmm.
and dairy free? And he did it for me.
Wow.
There was only one problem. The amount of biryani he served me fed three people. So
Quantity.
the point over here is the portion when you eat out. Karan, you and I run a restaurant,
Yeah.
okay? If I am in charge of the portion in your restaurant,
Yeah.
all your consumers and all your clients will throw stones at your restaurant. Bhai, itna charge kiya aur itna kam diya.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does the restaurant do? We charge 100 rupees more,
Yeah.
but we will give 200% more, because the incremented cost
Hmm.
of food production
Yeah.
is already recovered in the first part
Right.
of the portion.
Right.
So by giving that incremented amount, happiness comes in. कि भाई ये तो restaurant मतलब पेट तो भर गया यार.
Yeah.
So feeling of happiness.
Yeah.
Now when the पेट भर गया, you're also using neutral oil.
Yeah.
Neutral oil in terms of flavoring, but it's the most khatarnak oil, palm oil. I'd like you to do an experiment. I'd
Yeah.
like everyone out there in your channel to do the experiment.
Yeah.
Every time you go on, ask the waiter, भाई कौन सा तेल से बनाते हैं? And ask him to bring the packet out to show you what it is. So we are looking at eating the wrong foods when we go out, and that is where. So these e-commerce apps have also brought in convenience of delivery to your doorstep after the pandemic, which I think is a great thing. The problem is the human race is also weak, because there's instant gratification in pressing that tab.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I can get a pizza here right now
Yeah.
in under
It's become
15
so
minutes,
easy. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if it's the end of the day and we are tired,
Yeah.
when you're tired, in a stressful mode, research has shown you gravitate towards making unhealthy food choices.
Yeah.
I've seen it myself. I get back from the clinic,
Yeah.
and if the dinner's not ready when I walk in at 5:30, I eat early dinner, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Right.
If I walk in and the dinner's not ready,
Yeah.
I'm going to Chuda, my son's chips packet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, somebody brought jalebies. Who brought jalebies? And then you're, oh my God, I regret that. I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
I'm first a human and then a nutritionist. I have the snacking gene inside of me.
Yeah.
All of us have a snacking gene, satiety gene, and emotional eating gene inside of us.
Yeah.
So next time you go out, Karan,
Where
look
to
at
check
all your
that?
friends sitting in that restaurant, okay?
Yeah.
And find out who's got the snacking gene. So that friend, na, हमेशा, अरे यार भूख है Karan, कुछ तो खाने का. Every 15 minutes, that friend,
We all
you're
have that
laughing.
friend,
You know
yeah.
that friend already in your group,
Yeah.
okay? Then there's a friend, he will eat,
Yeah.
and you'll have gone hitting the nightclub and everything. 1 hour later, भाई, कुछ खाने का है. He's just eaten
Yeah, just
like
eaten.
a wild boar,
Uh.
and his like stomach is empty. That's called the satiety gene. Basically, his brain ki bhai, तुमने मेरे को खाना कभी दिया? खाना तो नहीं दिया. Because when he was eating, he was talking to you, and his
Yeah.
brain didn't register that you
That
fed
he ate.
food.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is, this is a lot of your friends in your group. When the girlfriend has broken up with them or something or other, they will start binge eating.
Yeah.
The emotional eater.
Emotional eating.
Or a guy's like, boss has fired him and he's come out on Saturday night. He's like just eating, or
Yeah.
drinking. So we have these genes inside of us, which kind of affect us when we do this junk food eating.
But we spoke about fasting. You mentioned that's one of the key things that one should also do. But for example, if someone tries to do intermittent fasting for say 16 hours, and if they eat their last meal at 10 p.m. and the next meal is directly lunch at 2 p.m., the so-called thing is that breakfast, eat breakfast like a king. Is it okay to skip breakfast? Is that normal?
Who taught us how to eat?
Ancestors and like
Ancestors specifically in your family, who's fed you first? Your mother?
parents' mother, yes.
Your mother, right? Who's taught your mother?
Her mother.
Who has taught her mother? Her mother. Right?
Yes.
Eating has evolved based on the economics of where that society is at that point. Eating breakfast like a king was designed by the Industrial Revolution.
Okay.
Karan, imagine doing intermittent fasting and going into a factory where you have to hammer. You've seen Charlie Chaplin, where he keeps hitting that thing and and he misses one, and they go, "You and I are what? We're DJs, man. We're just this."
On the desk, yeah.
Okay, I ran today, so I've got more than 15,000 steps. But on a
Normal day.
non-run day, I've got
Yeah.
about 2,000 steps.
Yeah.
What am I trying to communicate to you?
Hmm.
Is the fact that fasting from a Nobel Prize doctor's point of view
Yeah.
called autophagy does cellular cleaning. Simple. Bombay is kept really clean. You have something known as a BMC. Why am I talking about municipality? Municipality is the cleanup of the city. You have a cleanup crew inside your body. One way, by not feeding your body, you allow the old cells to be killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Karan, let's say there are 100 cells in your body.
Yeah.
You do intermittent fasting. 3 cells are old. You don't feed them glucose. You don't feed them protein. Body will go, nah, fat, get out. You're old, you're dead, get out. So 97 now are new, 3 new cells come in.
Yeah, come on.
So prevention of cancer, rejuvenation, memory clarity, digestive system improvement are all there.
Yeah.
Why did intermittent fasting become famous? Because of the pandemic. पैंडेमिक अरे यार सर्वेंट तो नहीं आ सकता है ना वो आप मेरा जो मोना है वो नहीं आ सकता है तो क्या करो अरे रायन साहब को ब्रेकफास्ट बनाने का है रायन और बीबी देख रहे कि भाई तुम बना लो मैं बना ले आज छोड़ो ना आज नहीं खाए 12 बजे खाएगा दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंड राइट 12 बजे खाना बनाएगा अरे कौन दोबारा डिनर बनाएगा साथ में ये करेगा we'll take this we'll pack in the fridge and then at 5 o'clock in the evening we'll eat the other one right and then we were doing some munchies and everything now suddenly we are bored and all in the morning क्या है कुछ नहीं कर सकता है and all we're scared चलो let's start exercising we started exercising अरे 3 हफ्ते के बाद वेइंग स्केल के ऊपर गया वजन कम हो गया ये तो बढ़िया है now when the pandemic lifted like अरे रायन भाई तूने क्या किया everyone something happened
सब फिट हो के आ गया
intermittent fasting now you come back to your question is it safe to do yes unless you're pregnant
Yeah.
you have diabetes hypertension you have gastro problems which is the stomach problem then talk to your medical doctor your family doctor your specialist come to Ryan Fernando we do the complete screening so I'm a person if I do intermittent fasting my body loves it my brain hates it so my team have actually seen me shut down because in intermittent fasting the glucose to the brain is lower. So every person is different, Karan. You need to figure out. But
What works.
On a blanket statement, the human race is eating too much. There is no harm in eating a little lesser.
I think our bodies, because we are so used to eating so frequently now, it's forgotten the feeling of what scarcity is like.
You know, you're right because of all of the e-commerce apps and then the industrial revolution and just eating 9 to 5. Sorry, not 9 to 5. 9 to 9. Like the biggest challenge on the planet today is coming from the OTT platform and the e-commerce food apps. TV apps are not allowing us to sleep. And therefore we're craving more food or eating more food. And if you look at the e-commerce apps, you know, you're just at a click of a button ordering the food. So think about this, okay? When you leave home or you become 18 or 21, your parents can't tell you to not eat or stop eating or put a filter on you. And what's happening is students who go to college and then they come out and get their first job, which is nowadays not equivalent of what your grandfather got paid, but triple or quadruple the amount. So you have more disposable income to buying food. Where is the question of paucity or scarcity unless it is acquired intellectually?
That's right.
So I think for a person to fast, you need to be religious or you need to be intellectual. And this is difficult in today's day and age with all the temptation.
For sure. Another thing that makes me feel like why people end up eating more is that if someone is trying to lose weight, they think I need to work out a lot. But does working out really help with weight loss specifically? I know it's really good for your health. And for weight loss specifically, because I believe the amount of calories that we end up burning in a workout don't add up to a lot. And once the workout is done, you feel hungry and you're eating, and possibly you've eaten more than what you've burned.
So it's very, very simple, okay? The simplest cheese that anyone can do is do 1 hour of walking
Hmm.
and see what your exercise variable tells you.
Hmm.
My exercise variable for 1 hour of walking says 1 hour 23 calories,
Hmm.
123 calories.
Yeah.
Okay. My pizza that I might have today will be close to a whopping 900 calories, right? So when we look at energy expenditure,
Hmm.
I am looking at when people have put on weight, when they come to me for a diet plan,
Yeah.
we stand them on the weighing scale and they have fat percentage. 10 to 15% is what a male should have, 15 to 20% is okay.
Okay.
Beyond 20% is like you're abusing. But that's half of the population today which has a higher body fat percentage in the male part. Same goes for the females. So I advocate exercise,
Hmm.
but not the high intensity for weight loss.
Hmm.
Do walking for weight loss.
Okay.
And the 1 hour is not enough because 1 hour gives you 6,000 steps.
Hmm.
And the weight loss effect happens at, in my experience,
Hmm.
around 15 to 20,000 steps a day.
Oh.
Karan, that is 15 to 20 kilometers of walking. Tell me which person walks 15 to 20
Yeah.
kilometers.
Yeah.
And so if you do it in 3 batches in the day,
Hmm.
post breakfast, post lunch, post dinner,
Hmm.
the frequency by which you do it,
Yeah.
45 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes, the next time you eat, you're like, dude, I'm putting in so much of effort.
Yeah.
I better hold this guy and what I put into my body.
Right. Right.
The other thing is that when we eat, the portions are being served to us and the calorie control is not in our hand. So yesterday I did a podcast and they asked me, would you like to have lunch? And I said no,
Hmm.
because I knew that the lunch that they would order me
Hmm.
would be oily, palm oil, not the right ingredients. And no matter their intentions to order from anywhere,
Yeah.
um, you're not in control.
Yeah.
And it is this not in control for a majority of the days of our life. Then you take into account your genetics, you take into account your microbiome, you take into account the problems that you may have hormonally, etc., etc. And
Yeah.
that compounds upon you are eating more than you require.
Yeah.
So this whole weight loss equation of doing 1 hour of a spin cycle class, which is 600 calories, can be defeated by a South Indian dosa
Yeah.
very easily. So sometimes it's a no-brainer, you know, that
Hmm.
if if nutrition,
Yeah.
junk food or eating out was a fighter and exercise was another fighter and you pit them against each other,
Hmm.
hands down,
Yeah.
nutrition will win the battle of the bulge.
For sure. Yeah. Elon Musk recently spoke about using Wegovy, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, which is a weight loss drug, and I believe other celebrities have also been known to consume drugs. I think GLP-1 is one among them. Do you think they are safe to consume, and what is your take on these?
Look, Karan, I've been a nutritionist now for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
Um, I've seen Olestra come and go, and you know, the pharmaceutical industry
Yeah.
will spend a substantial amount of money trying to make these available. Now, a lot of the billionaire clients and very rich people, obviously, vanity is a key component,
Yeah.
longevity is a key component. I believe the bio individual data to them is so powerful that they are able to take these drugs, have the necessary medical support teams tracking them, the necessary biochemistry analysis or diagnostic test to be done, such that if it is harming the body, they're getting real time data, right? But Aam Aadmi like you and me will take a product. We are not doing that sort of monitoring that these high end celebrities are using. And so it comes to a conclusion that unless there's enough of statistical evidence, so human trials,
Yeah.
what is the population of the human trial? I don't know if you know this, there's actually something known as a drug genomic screening. So now in India, I do drug genomics screening.
Okay.
So when somebody goes to take statin and they have
Hmm.
enough of money,
Hmm.
I'll say, sir, just give me 30,000 rupees.
Hmm.
I'll do your drug genomic scanning.
Hmm.
So for the rest of their life, I can tell them a whole class of drugs that they
Yeah.
can take or cannot take. Now, where am I going with this on weight loss drugs?
Hmm.
We don't have these drugs in sufficient statistical number on a segment of a population. So they're now testing it in pharmacokinetic models and on rat models, and they're doing this tissue culturing
Hmm.
model or genomic sequencing data model.
Yeah.
I'm no expert in that. I'm a simple logical believer of if it is not found on the tree or grown from the ground or found in nature, you need to be cautious about it.
Yeah, yeah. And if I'm not wrong, please correct me. But these are also diabetic drugs that are being used for weight loss, right?
Hmm. So, like for example, metformin is known to help you lose weight. Metformin is also known as an anti-aging
Yeah.
medication, much made popular by Dr. David Sinclair, right? But why would I take a drug uh, to combat my weight loss? I would do it because intrinsically, at my mind level, I'm lazy to do the exercise
Yeah.
or to do the dietary control, or I have a medical issue which then my doctor has prescribed it for.
For yeah.
So when people take the shortcut into their own hands
Hmm.
and try to short circuit a medical prescription towards a weight loss end goal, I think you are going to meet with disaster at some point in
For
your
sure,
life.
for sure. Yeah. But I wanted to get into diabetes also because a lot of people are suffering from type 2 diabetes, and I've heard that it is majorly reversible through diet itself. Are there any immediate actions that people can start taking if they're suffering from type 2 diabetes?
First thing, do the glycated hemoglobin blood test,
Hmm.
which measures your hemoglobin and how sugar attacks your hemoglobin, and it's a 3 month rating. So
Okay.
you can't be goody goody if you're going for a blood test tomorrow morning, Karan, because I've asked you for one, and your fasting sugar level will come back proper.
Hmm.
So it's a 3 month indicator. So that's a great test.
Okay.
If you're below 5.6,
Hmm.
you are a rock star.
Okay.
5.6 to 6 start really worrying, it's pre-diabetic.
Okay.
Above 6, you're moved into the diabetic zone.
Hmm.
Now they're changing the data and saying that even at 6.4, 6.5, you're not a diabetic, because I think the whole point is that we want people taking medication. I want to forecast a warning. I want you to catch it when it's 5.6, because it is reversible with diet. I've reversed 10.2, 9.87 just
Wow.
with diet. What is diabetes? It's a lifestyle
Hmm.
disease.
Hmm.
You eat too much carbohydrate. Indian diet, yes, has a lot of carbohydrates. You're trained, and I'm trained by my mother to eat rice. So if you have diabetes and you take away the grain, your HbA1c levels are going to come down.
Hmm.
I got very angry one day with my father. He's like, my sugar's under control. I'm like, Dad, your sugar's not under control.
Yeah.
No, no, no. My H1C is 7.6. It's under control. Hey, dude, you're taking so many tablets and medications for diabetes,
Hmm.
which is holding it in control.
Right.
My cholesterol is in control. People are saying to me, no, your cholesterol is not in control. You're taking statins, man. Your cholesterol and diabetes is in control when your food and exercise is the only medical intervention you're actually using.
Hmm.
And that is the crux of the matter. Now, I would like to make this prediction. Everyone listening into this podcast, more than 60% of them will develop diabetes in their life if they don't get smart about getting educated
Right.
about what they put in their body and how they work out.
Yeah.
So sooner or later, you're going to spend a lot of money on eating correctly or working out, or you're going to spend triple the lots of that money in disease.
Really, it's so important for people to realize that it is reversible just with diet as well, because I think most people live with the misconception that once you are diabetic, then you have to rely on medicines.
I think a lot of people are very smart, but they have this excuse syndrome in them. What's the excuse syndrome? I
I
still want to
can't.
enjoy my food. I still want to eat biryani which can serve three
Mm,
people.
mm,
I still want to drink my alcohol which is going to send my sugar up.
yeah.
I still want to have my chai coffee. I'm going to get assassinated on the internet for this. I am a huge believer of black tea and black coffee, because the moment you add milk and sugar to it,
Mm,
2 cups of milk, tea, or coffee per day over
yeah.
a 1 year is a 5.5 kg weight gain. And what happens when weight gain happens in the Indian subcontinent? Fat percentage goes up.
Mm,
As fat keeps increasing, it deposits on your liver, fatty liver disease. As fat increases on the girth of your abdomen, insulin resistance,
mm,
meaning your insulin doesn't work well,
work.
sugar levels starts
High
climbing. So
level.
all of this is related
Linked.
to what you put into your body in the younger years. So as early as 18 to 30, I think the abandon that the youthful generation has towards ki, अरे भाई मैं कुछ भी खा सकता है, कुछ नहीं होता है. Just get a little bit intelligent that you have this only one
Mm,
body. Can you change your body? Right? Do you live in it as a landlord or do you live in it as a tenant? Ask yourself this question. Now, when you put that croissant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10 a month,
Yeah.
then you're a tenant. You have one croissant in a month, two croissants a month, that's acceptable.
Yeah.
So start with eliminating the bad foods,
Yeah.
then start going into your good foods and seeing what has a high glycemic index. Who's this glycemic index? It's how much sugar is being released from a food.
Yeah.
I like to call it in the IPL word, like you have a very economic bowler. Like who's an economic bowler right now? Bumrah, right? So Bumrah gives some 3-4 runs average
Yeah.
in an over, right? So Bumrah is like low glycemic index. He's like an apple. ज़्यादा glucose नहीं देते. But you get a guy who is getting hit for 22 runs every over. That is high glycemic index, lots of sugar released,
Yeah.
lots of runs given, and that could be white bread, white rice, candy,
Yeah.
sweets, milkshakes with
Yeah.
sugar in it, alcohol, high glycemic index. Those are the things that push you towards diabetes.
Right. No, I think, like you said, the awareness of these things will automatically bring change because it just opens the door in your brain, and you're like, okay, now I don't have to do this, I don't have to do that.
I think you're right because like even the awareness of like skincare therapy, right? 20 years ago, teenagers did do skincare,
Yeah.
but the other day I'd gone to Kaya to do a facial to clean up my skin, and I saw many youngsters in there. And I actually had a conversation with a youngster who was maybe
Yeah.
about 22, 23. It's like, why you're here? Your skin is really beautiful. She says, oh, I'm just doing preventive maintenance. I love that word, preventive maintenance,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So I think the younger generation, because
Is
of the exposure
yeah.
to technology, to education, to experts, to even content on the internet,
Yeah.
is allowing them to consume that content and choose what they like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once they choose what they like, they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I think I need to do
Make that
some
change.
changes.
Yeah, for sure. Another report that I recently read, which has actually taken the country by shock, is that it's in the journal Medicine that shows that a staggering 70% of the 36 popular protein brands had inaccurate protein information on them, and some samples have also showed toxins and pesticides in those samples. So right now, I think the audience also is so confused as to which protein to go for. There's so many protein sources, be it like pea protein, plant protein, whey isolate. So which source is good, and are there any recommendations that you have that you trust?
What I'm going to say today is going to shock the industry.
Yeah.
I've never said it on camera before. When I was younger, I worked for 2 supplement companies. I traveled the length and breadth of this country
Yeah.
to go and sell amino acids. So I used to work for this very premium pharmaceutical company selling amino acids that could be injected.
Okay.
So it's that level of purity.
Mm-hmm.
So we manufacture nutritional supplements in the form of sachets, which you have to take only 1 or 2 grams of amino acid. You need to understand why protein is being oversold.
Yeah.
First of all, how do I get you to consume something? I create a fear psychosis. The Indian diet is very low in protein. Arey, look at this fellow here, he's so skinny, no? He khud ko protein khane ka. Forget me. Ask the simple question. Indians and this subcontinent has existed for millennia. Protein powder tha us time beta. Number one, I'll still get trolled for this. कि तुमको क्या पता है प्रोटीन लेने का बॉडी बिल्डर बनाने का है. Does everybody on the planet need to build bodybuilding muscles is the question. So how did this come about? When dairy began to get more valuable, animal husbandry, we
Yeah.
had more cows. What do cows produce? Milk. Does milk get spoiled beta? Yes. When milk gets spoiled, what do? You create curd. Now, when you create enough of curd and you got 5 cows and you fed your whole village, what you're going to do? You start making cheese. And so you have milk, you have curd, you have cheese, right? Now, when you make cheese or curd, when you separate curd, which is the casein, what is the other liquid part? Whey.
Yes.
So when cheese became its epitome in Europe and in America, people were dumping millions and millions of pounds of whey into processing plants
Yeah.
for sewage or animal feed. So over a period of time, they started dehydrating the powder, using it in animal feed, and then subsequently, as the world started getting on TV and advertisements and movies, we started seeing that the more beautiful people, the more well-built people, the more muscular people
Yeah.
began to want to build these bodies, and they found out that in research, Whey protein has the highest protein digestible corrected amino acid score,
Okay.
meaning whey protein is at the level of a Rolls Royce.
Hmm.
So have you set the tone now? You now got an
It's
industry.
shocking. Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you that cow is bad and milk is bad, and because it's an
Yeah.
industry. Once I have these tons and tons of whey protein being produced,
Yeah.
what I'm going to tell people, you're not eating enough of protein, right? Now the next point, because it's a food item, in a pharmaceutical company, because you spend billions of dollars to launch a drug, not all companies do it. So Karan, if you have 20 lakhs and I have 20 lakhs, let's start a protein supplement company. अरे रे तुम रायन फर्नांडो प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट कंपनी बना सकते हैं. This is the problem in this country. Every business person or entrepreneur or startup has thought that they are very smart in nutrition. I know 20, 30 entrepreneurs who started everything from protein powders to energy bars, and I'm calling you guys out. You have no food science background. I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah.
There's an amino acid called glutamine, right? All the science students who have done food technology are going to start nodding their head in this podcast. You cannot mix a carbohydrate with a pure amino acid because you get what is known as a Maillard reaction. Guess what all these donkey startups are doing? They're mixing amino acids like glutamine with glucose powder.
Yes.
I'm calling out these startups
Yeah.
because they have no idea on food technology. Oh yeah, we'll recruit a food scientist. Now, is that food scientist paid the highest amount of salary? No, because you didn't get funding as yet. So you're doing garage ka dal chawal roti banata hai. I'm sorry I'm being so rude, but
No, it's important. Yeah.
there is no system. And I'm so happy with the government bringing the FSSAI Act.
Yeah.
I am from the generation of the PFA Act, Prevention of Food Adulteration. That had so many loopholes. Do you know recently they took off all the multivitamins, put a gun to everyone's head and said, take it off the websites. You cannot give more than 100% RDA. Now come to the point of protein powder.
Yeah.
Yes, you can take a protein powder. I'm glad they found out that half a dozen or 36 or whatever were junk. I'm glad people in India have heard about this.
Yeah.
You do not self-prescribe protein. Trainers do not prescribe protein. Doctors can prescribe protein. Nutritionists can prescribe protein. Which protein to prescribe? First of all, ask this question. Can I meet my protein requirement for my diet?
Right.
Right? And again, people will troll me, bhai, tum khud kha lo, yare beta chodo. First, think about your health. I run one of the most successful nutrition clinics on the planet. Over 100 dietitians.
Yeah.
The who's who of the world. The fastest 200-meter athlete in the world comes to my clinic.
Yeah.
I won 2 Olympic medals with Sushil Kumar. Virat Kohli has been my client. Why do they come to a professional nutritionist? Because we search for the right balance of nutrition from aapka dal chawal roti.
Right.
Then you bring a nutritional supplement.
Yeah.
So now how do you choose a supplement? Do a food intolerance test. Am I allergic to dairy? Am I allergic to green pea? Am I allergic to soy protein? Am I allergic to hemp protein? Am I allergic to casein protein? Am I allergic to chana protein? Am I allergic to sattu?
Yeah.
Now everyone will be like, भाई ये तो कहाँ से आ गया यार, सबको टेस्टिंग, सबके पास पैसा नहीं. अरे भाई टेस्टिंग नहीं करने का ना, दाल चावल रोटी पहला खा लो.
उससे you'll know.
Eat your normal food. And the vegetarian diet is not lacking in protein.
Yeah.
There has been this nexus of lack of protein, lack of protein, lack of protein. Bhai, lack of protein से कहाँ से आता है? No, we don't have enough of muscle mass. Bhai, have you measured your fat percentage and muscle percentage on a weighing scale for the last 2 to 5 years to have established your own trend line?
Yeah.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
So somebody saying, भाई तुम बहुत skinny है, आपको muscle नहीं है. But my genetics is different, Karan. My mother and father is not producing you.
Yeah.
My mother and father is skinny.
Yeah.
Now, if your mother and father are fat, you're also going to have the fat gene in you. Now, if your mother and father is Dara Singh,
Yeah.
you're going to be Dara Singh.
Yeah.
Now, people say, no, protein powder lene ka. So, this nexus of protein powder is because the entrepreneurs and the manufacturers coming to it are not the traditional guys. You know what? If people like, say, Parle-G or any big food company comes into making a protein powder,
Yeah.
they'll do it correctly. Process safety security.
Yeah.
It's because of these gully-wala companies coming. And I remember in 2004 or 5, we were selling these amino acids and I'd gone to this furniture shop dealer in Rohtak, Haryana side. And in the back of the workshop, they were packing these dabbas, plastic dabbas, digitally printing protein powder labels. They were packing skimmed milk powder, and they were crushing Deca Duraball tablets and putting it inside. Now, because I worked for a very powerful pharmaceutical firm, I came back and told my bosses that this was happening. They said, "You don't do anything." But what they did is they got a journalist like this article and the police to begin to start investigation in that part of the
Okay.
India. So there's a lot of spurious products,
Yeah.
and even what is available on Amazon has an issue. Let me tell you why. Karan,
Yeah.
you and I go on Amazon, we are these gunda type of guys. Arey yaar, this protein powder is selling 4 crores a month. What we will do, we'll go and reproduce the digital label of that product.
Yeah.
Now, Amazon doesn't have enough of a system to check that out. So we will load it on Karan and Ryan store. Now you, as the unknown customer, see two of the same product.
Same thing. Yeah.
Karan, what we will do as Gunda guys, we will put it at 500 rupees lesser. हाँ, what people think, अरे भाई मैं तो ये वाला बढ़िया प्रोटीन पाउडर डिस्काउंट में मिल रहा है,
Yeah.
उसको लेने का है. So there is not much control in this. So if you're buying a protein supplement, try and buy from the manufacturer directly.
Right.
So go to the company's website directly, right? But with regards to all of this, not having the correct amount of protein and not having the other things,
Yeah.
I know where the problem lies. All of these protein powder companies are marketing companies. So if you're a marketing company, do you own your manufacturing facility? No. Where will you manufacture it? Third party, not second party, third party, contract marketing. Now all the third party guys are going to put a hit out on me saying that how can you say that? We manufacture with FSSI, this quality, that quality, this quality. If there was true quality in the Indian mindset, think about how our roads are made. Today they're getting much better. But there are shortcuts. People who do the shortcuts, even the system. You visit any airport, is the toilet kept clean correctly? You visit any restaurant, is it at the highest quality level?
No.
So the ethos of our system to be perfectionist in whatever we do is not there.
Yeah.
And therefore in the food industry, I'm very skeptical
Yeah.
when marketing companies
Yeah.
decide to produce food products.
Exactly.
So what would I do? I would buy protein powder
Yeah.
from a guy. At the top of it, if it says I am ABC brand, manufactured at ABC's facility. Now why you can't do that? Because to launch a manufacturing facility in protein powder
Yeah.
will cost you nothing less than 3 to 6 crores.
Yeah.
But for you and me, Karan, to start a brand, tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
1.5 lakhs investment, lesser than an iPhone.
My God.
So this is when you start doing this and you don't meet the end consumer, which is why people need to get their protein powders prescribed
Yeah.
from a doctor or from a nutritionist.
Yeah, it's so important. No, I'm still stuck at understanding how whey actually became mainstream, and I think greed has taken over people's minds. Where
See, I'm not assassinating whey. Whey protein is a
yeah,
brilliant medical bodybuilding product,
yeah,
provided it agrees with your body,
yeah,
provided you're not meeting it from your dietary sources, provided maybe you have that requirement like an athlete,
yeah,
or you're going for a six pack in a movie and you need 1.5, 1.8, 2 grams per kg body weight.
yeah,
But dude, if you're a software engineer, why the hell do you need 50 grams of protein a day? Right? You want to build a body, then is your discipline of taking protein as equivalent as the discipline of your workout?
yeah,
So I tell people that before you think of supplements as a nutritional convenience for your nutritional indiscipline, look at your dal chawal roti.
yeah. For sure. No, I think we also spoke about people working out, and every it's become trendy to have a body, and that's how people are getting
I'm
into
not
it.
saying that's wrong. It's good to have a body. But the shortcuts in terms of I'm not going to eat correct food, but cheat with a supplement.
Yeah,
I'll get trolled for this also. But do you know what happens in the background with athletes, in gyms, in academies, when people get frustrated that after 1 year of training, they're not getting muscles.
Hmm.
What do you resort to? Copious amounts of overdosing of supplements. At least that is recoverable to a certain extent.
Hmm.
Then you get into chemical wizardry. And that's a whole new podcast about
Yeah.
steroids and
Steroids and everything.
XYZ. But
Mm-hmm.
let's stick to the topic.
When we rely so heavily on food, uh, I was reading a BBC article recently where they mentioned that the nutritional value of our food crops, be it the minerals and vitamins in it, are depleting. So we can't really consume more food right now. Overeating isn't an option. So does everyone have to now rely on external supplements, or how do we tackle this?
Uh, I do a nutrition blood test of vitamins and minerals every 6 months.
Okay.
In the last 3 years, I can tell you, just relying on the food chain and eating in a correct rainbow effect of balancing out all my natural food, which I try and at least 60% buy organic.
Hmm.
I don't have any vitamin deficiency
Okay.
except vitamin D, which is in my genetic test.
Okay.
And vitamin B6 is my genetic receptor on the back foot.
Okay.
So the months I don't take a vitamin B6 supplement,
Hmm.
it drops. But I know pistachios are high in B6.
Okay.
So the quarter in 180 days of 2 quarters,
Hmm.
if I eat pistachios for more than 90 days,
Yeah.
then I know that King B6 is good. But sometimes when I eat so much of pistachios, my body fat percentage goes up. Why am I sharing this with you?
Yeah.
Yes, we know that the nutritive element in our crops is dropping because of constant farming.
Yeah.
So farmers are using micronutrition in crops,
Okay.
increase the iron content,
Okay.
increase the magnesium content. Like I do a little bit of vegetable growing on my terrace.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that when the leaves turn yellow in color, I need to include potassium, I need to include nitrogen, I need to include
Mm-hmm.
magnesium on certain days.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes I use iron filings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's micronutrition to the plants. So the human body will be deficient if your genetics inherited from your mommy daddy in the nutritional absorption, micronutrient absorption is low. But if you're lucky and you won the genetic lottery, इसका मतलब मम्मी डैडी का जोड़ी अच्छा है, and I think my mommy daddy ka jodi acha hai, so I don't have much nutritional
Okay.
micronutrient deficiency, so I do not take a multivitamin.
Okay. So.
So the call over here, as the world evolves, will be you will be able to test, rely on organic food, eat to your heart's content. Karan, what's the size of your heart? If your body weight is perfect between 19.6 to about, I think 20.8 is supposed to be the good BMI. If
Yeah.
you see, most Indians are above 21 BMI. Now, people may argue with me, and I'm not arguing with the fitness buff brigade, the CrossFitters, and the bodybuilders out there.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Aam Admi,
Yeah. Yeah.
the Aam Admi that is beyond 22 BMI. Then you want to be bringing that down, because when you bring it down, you will do it with lowered food.
Yeah.
But when you do it with lower food, you might be skipping out on the micronutrition.
Got it.
Like a person overeating, by the mere fact that they're taking extra quantity,
Yeah.
may top up their micronutrient level. So it's a
Got it.
double-edged sword that you need to be looking
Right,
for.
and that way I think it can be managed. The last thing that I wanted to discuss in the questions was the impact that food can have actually on our emotions. In Ayurveda and the yogic systems, we've seen, sattvic, tamasic, rajasic food, and direct correlations between how that can impact your mood. There's some negative emotions that maybe I can name, and if you can just help us with what they should eat to tackle these emotions. So first is like lack of concentration, lack of focus, especially for young kids and students.
Omega 3, because 50% of your brain is made up of fat. Sorry, 60% of your brain is made up of fat. And of that 60%, 50% is the omega 3s.
Okay.
Our Indian diet is deficient in omega 3.
Yeah.
Chia seed, flaxseed, walnuts are a good vegetarian source for omega 3.
Yeah.
Taking a vegan algae supplement is good. Taking fish oil supplement or eating fish like mackerel, sardines, salmon, anchovies are really high in omega 3. So that works for your brain.
Okay.
Research has shown that the purple anthocyanins in blueberries are really good. I love our Indian amla, but many children don't like the taste of that.
Yeah.
So make sure you get enough of fruits in the diet. Banana, pomegranate, watermelon. Watermelon has citrulline malate, and which is a precursor for arginine, which does a lot of vasodilation. Pistachios have got high arginine content, dilates the blood vessels, which means your brain gets more circulation
Okay.
of blood, more oxygen, more nutrition going to the brain. Brain feels thumbs
Yeah.
up.
Another one is I heard you also mentioning that diet can really help with depression. Is that true?
Yeah, I always there's a joke in my house that I'm very insensitive when we see people talking about mental health, and I'm very crass and very like, अरे यार mental health क्या होता है ना, तुम्हारा diet सही नहीं होता है यार. And my wife will be like, आप ऐसा कैसे बोल सकते हैं? अब like सही होता है यार, diet सही दे दो, constipation का problem. Look, anyone who's depressed, they're not potting correctly. I'm joking away. People who are depressed out there, please forgive me. I'm saying that your condition can improve with diet.
Yeah, yeah,
There was a study done in the prisons
yeah.
where there was suicidal tendencies and riots.
Mm-hmm.
All they did was improve the multivitamin and omega-3,
Okay.
and there was a drop in violence and suicidal tendencies in the prison.
Wow.
Right? So when you change your microbiome, who's the microbiome? The good bacteria, the bad bacteria in your
Yeah.
gut. So if you feed the wrong food, then the bad gunda guys prevail, and they eat that food and poop their molecules into your gut, and those molecules go into your brain, creating downers.
Yeah.
So there are foods, when taken positively to rechange your microbiome, can be uppers. B complex deficiencies, chronic B complex over years and months will affect your sleep. Karan, if you don't sleep well for 15 days, what will happen to you? Won't you be cranky?
Yeah.
Won't you be
For sure.
aggressive? Won't you be angry?
For sure.
On the other end of the spectrum, could you be also depressed?
Yeah.
So people are not understanding that they are eating 24 bar 7 breakfast, lunch, dinner, चालू वाला खाना. कोई प्लान नहीं है. टेस्ट बड का प्लान है. तो टेस्ट बड बोलता है भाई तुम ऐसा वाला खाना लेगा तो मैं आपको थप्पड़ दे रहा हूँ.
Yeah.
Taste bud is not giving you a thappad. Body is giving you the thappad.
That's true.
You put crap into you,
Yeah.
and you think you're a Ferrari or Mercedes Benz. There's this example, no? One day you see this guy driving a Zen car and Ferrari sticker on it. That Ferrari sticker doesn't make his Zen a Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what people are doing today. भाई मैं Ferrari हूँ.
Yeah.
Depression है, गैस्ट्रो प्रॉब्लम है, स्किन का प्रॉब्लम है, इसका प्रॉब्लम. भाई तेरा डाइट के अंदर जाओ. एंड डॉक्टर्स आर आल्सो नाउ रियलाइजिंग कि
Yeah.
there must be something with the diet.
Yeah.
So medical college does not teach the doctors about nutrition
Yeah.
and the link between bad diet and causative medical issues.
Yeah.
But what are all our diseases today? Lifestyle diseases. What lifestyle? Not sleeping on time, not eating the correct food, not being physically active.
Yeah.
So your Ayurveda and your ancient Tibetan medicine, Chinese medicine, Sufi medicine, all of these went into the basic tenets of the body's balance in the universe. In food plays a predominant role on how people should be eating,
Yeah.
but we have lost the plot.
Absolutely. Again, this is something that many people don't know, and I'm so happy you pointed that out. For our last segment, it's just a quick answer round where I'll ask you a few questions, and if you can just share a few hacks with us. So the first one is any 3 superfoods for the brain.
Turmeric, omega-3, and with your nutritionist permission and prescription, or Ayurvedic doctor's prescription,
Yeah.
Brahmi, Ashwagandha, Shankar Pushpi.
Okay. Great. Any 3 must-dos for good sleep.
The orange light that everyone knows, the filter.
Yeah.
Change your lights in the house to not have that blue tinge.
Yeah.
Switch off your Wi-Fi and your cellular pinging of the phone
Yeah.
in your bedroom.
Okay.
Better still, after 10:30, 11, you're not going to be using it. Put off the mains on your Wi-Fi router. I think that significantly helps. And you can have kiwi, pistachios, walnut, which have a higher source of melatonin, which is an amino acid which helps in sleep about 1 to 2 hours before going to sleep, or have a cup of chamomile tea. Research has shown it gives you a deeper sleep.
Okay, great. You've spoken about the benefits of drinking mineral water, but if someone can't afford it on a daily basis, is there any alternative to make water better?
Simple. Just get good water filtered, right? What you could do is add a pinch of Himalayan pink salt in it, or Celtic salt, or Karan, if you remember the olden days, we used to get the rock salt.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the kharab looking salt. Just take 2-3 crystals, crush it up nicely, throw it into your water. It mineralizes the water to
wow.
give you your electrolytes. So that's what I feel that you can
People
do.
can do.
There's
Yes.
another one tip.
Yes, yes.
This is a Ryan Fernando original. You get these earthen pots, the
Yeah.
matkas.
Hmm.
Start buying the matkas again. Filter your water, put it into that. Every 1 month or so, destroy this guy because it'll create all of the. You'll get um, a green algae moss film inside. So
Mm-hmm.
throw out that
Yeah.
matka and start with a new matka.
That's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Any diet changes to help manage PCOS better?
The girls need to understand that polycystic ovarian
Hmm.
disorder
Hmm.
is related to getting cysts or pimples inside of your ovary. Pimples is a wrong term, but I'm just
Yeah. Yeah.
telling what the audience needs to
Understood.
visualize and understand. Cysts can be as small as 1 2 mm and go up to 6 centimeters.
Yeah.
Why do you get this? Is because you do not eat correctly.
Hmm.
Because when you eat fried foods,
Yeah.
it goes and does kujli to your hormones. So when it does kujli to your hormones, you're going to have insulin resistance also.
Okay.
And then you get sugar cravings. When you get sugar cravings, you eat more. What do you eat more of? Fried foods. And it's a vicious
Hmm.
cycle. And girls get PCOD between the ages of their first menstruation till 15, 16 years of age. Also, not eating a lot of food. Girls want to remain with their figure. So they starve themselves. That can also affect the hormonal imbalance.
Okay.
And so you got more cortisol, more fat being stored into the body
Hmm.
because of starvation conditions. So I think a combination of not eating correctly or starving is creating this conundrum of PCOD conditions in thousands and thousands and thousands of women.
Yeah.
And the fact that Indian girls do not work out as a statistical significant part of the population. So we need more girls playing sports, but not sports to win medal, sports for keeping good health,
Yeah.
keeping a healthier body weight.
That's for the women now. One for the men. Any testosterone boosting foods?
Broccoli, white mushrooms, pistachios, and high omega foods.
Okay.
I've also seen that most of the people that come to my QUA Nutrition
Hmm.
clinics, especially those who are the younger, more astute intellectual guys between the ages of say 19 and 30, those that have a low vitamin D level
Hmm.
will have a low testosterone level because vitamin D is actually the framework on which the vitamin D molecule is produced.
Okay. Got it.
So you want to be looking at your vitamin D
D as
levels.
well. Any tips for better hair?
See, hair is a function of a growth
Hmm.
of what? Protein.
Hmm.
So when your diet is junk food bad,
Yeah.
what is the raw material that's going to come out?
Okay.
Bad. What is the hormonal effect? Bad. So I advise people to go organic. I advise people to improve the amino acid profile in their diet.
Hmm.
I do know that pumpkin seed oil and green pea shoot extract are good to help in hair regrowth. But a lot of times, most of the male pattern baldness is genetically driven.
Hmm.
If it is dietary related,
Hmm.
then look at your allergens of foods of what you should not be eating.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you know what? Eating outside food is just not a great recipe for your hair.
That's true. I think it's not a great recipe in general, and we've taken so much from you. And I think you've advocated the importance of testing. You've advocated the importance of eating organic, and I've taken so much from you and from this podcast. And on my behalf and on my audience's behalf, a big thank you for doing this. Thank you for being so gracious with your time. Would you have any parting words?
My parting words is always the same to everybody that I
Yeah.
work with. Your body is the most expensive real estate. You can change your house, your car, your laptop, your mobile phone. You can change your job. You can change your watches. Three things you can't change: your sibling, your parents, and your body.
Yeah.
Right? So you're stuck with these three. So respect your parents. Keep fighting with your sibling. Keep loving your sibling. I actually mentioned this in one podcast. You can
Yeah.
even change your spouse.
So,
But your body you
super.
can't change.
Yeah.
So your body is truly your life partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you treat it like a boarder in your own house. So respect your body, worship your body. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Don't go and buy that expensive 3 lakh rupee bag and stupid shoes that cost 55,000 rupees. Invest 55,000 rupees in a trainer,
Yeah.
in great nutrition for 3 months and watch your body change.
Yeah. Such a beautiful note to end this podcast on. More power to you, and I wish you all the success, Ryan.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much. To our audience, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you got enough value from it. And if you did, don't forget to share this with your friends and family because this will help them a lot too. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you very soon in another episode. Lots of love. Bye.